posted for anybody who wasn't able to join us. So I think first and foremost, what's important for everybody is for all of us to be patient as we go into this new reality next week. Whether you're a student or a faculty and staff member, I think everybody's concerned about how the week's going to go. Will I know how to use the technology? Will it work? How will I interact with my students or with my faculty members? So if everybody's patient with themselves and with each other, I think it'll make for a smoother transition for everybody next week. Secondly, email is going to be, whether you're somebody who's always been on email or really hasn't paid it, email is going to become more important than it ever has before. That is going to be a primary way that faculty members are communicating with students. I know students are concerned with how the classes are going to run and what are they going to look like. And there isn't just one answer to that, because each faculty member is going to run their class a little differently. But it will be important that everybody familiarize themselves with Blackboard. Faculty are asked to make as much use of Blackboard as possible and to post their grades in Blackboard. So for students, that's where you're going to find a lot of the information that you need. There are also some online training resources, so you can always go there if you need some additional assistance. And we're trying to identify some power users, if you will, who will work with both faculty members and students on using Blackboard or WebEx or whatever technologies you're going to be asked to use in class. If you have questions for your faculty members, it's important that you email them, that you reach out to them. I know some faculty have not reached out to students yet because they were waiting more to get their ducks in a row, if you will. But certainly by Monday, everybody's going to be easing you into this process. So you should pay attention to your email over the weekend, because you're going to be, if you haven't already, you're going to be getting some instructions from your faculty members about what to expect and what to do. There have been some questions about, will my class still meet on the regular day and the regular time? And that, in general, would not be the case. Much of what we're going to do next week and moving forward is what we call asynchronous learning. That means we're not all doing this at the same time. So there may be lectures that are recorded and posted in Blackboard. There may be email, there may be video conferencing that's recorded. But if your class meets at 10 o'clock on Monday and Wednesday, in all likelihood, you are not going to be signing on Monday, Wednesday at 10 o'clock for a class. This is not going to just be distance lecturing. A lot of people define online learning, and if you looked at all of our recordings and our emails, we've been using online learning, we've been using remote learning, virtual learning. What you're going to be experiencing next week is not likely to be a full-blown, blown out, or built out online course. It's going to be a combination of ways in which your faculty member is going to interact with you, and you as students will interact with each other. Some students have asked, will we still have presentations? That's going to be up to the faculty member. Some students have asked, are we going to still have projects or group work? In all likelihood, you may, and that again is up to the professor. But just because we're transitioning into a remote or a virtual learning environment does not mean that you're going to operate in a bubble. It doesn't mean that you will not be interacting with your classmates. It doesn't mean you won't be interacting with the professor. It just means we'll all be doing this in a virtual environment. As new as that might be to a lot of us, the truth is about 25% of the course is already working remotely, and that's the way the world is going, and they just accelerated that process significantly. So yesterday I had 6 hours of different phone calls through WebEx and Skype. I had 4 hours this morning from 8 to 12. So this new coronavirus situation has created a greater dependence on that. But even without that, we were all operating to a large extent in a virtual environment. So this is a situation we're going to get through for this spring. I know there have been some questions about summer and fall. we don't have the answers to that. Nobody does. I mean, we can all hope. As we often say in business, hope is not a strategy. But we can hope that by fall, things will be back to the way we think they used to be. Summer, we don't know. I know one of you submitted a question about will summer school classes be online? Next week, groups will be getting together to determine what summer school is going to look like and also what our registration calendar will look like for summer and fall. I know that registration is supposed to start April 6th, and a decision has not been made yet whether that date is going to change or not. So those are some of my introductory comments. I know there have also been a lot of questions about internships. I would encourage you students who are in internships and have questions or concerns, if you haven't already, to contact your faculty advisor. I want to say in all of this, your internships or whether it's your courses, the faculty members are going to work with you every step of the way. Students are not going to be disadvantaged by this. Universities across the country, there are more than 300 universities who've transitioned their spring classes to an online or a virtual learning environment. So this is a national crisis. It's a national health crisis, and it's a national challenge that's facing higher education. So everybody is going through this together. YSU is certainly not an isolated situation. With regard to the internships, work with your faculty advisor because they will be working with you to ensure that you earn the credit for the spring semester. We've already had a number of interns who've been laid off their internship because companies are closing and cutting back. And if they don't have provisions for our interns to work remotely, they have no other choice but to let the interns go. That's not your fault. You're not going to be penalized for it. But again, talk to your faculty advisor so you can work things out. So let me see if I've gone through most of the questions. With regard to graduation, if you're scheduled to graduate in May, and assuming you passed your spring courses and meet the degree requirements, you will graduate in May. Your degree will be conferred in May. Your transcript will say degree conferred May 2020. Plans for commencement are on hold right now. As you know, we're not having commencement May 9th. Certainly, we hope to have commencement in the future, but the commencement is a ceremony. It's symbolic. It does not mean you earned or did not earn your degree. So you will, if you successfully complete your spring courses, stay on track, do what you were supposed to do, your degree will be conferred. We just won't have the opportunity at that point in time to come together and celebrate your accomplishment. So, okay, Mary, do we have some questions? I'm trying to talk to everybody and not keep an eye on the chat boxes.
Right now, anyone have any questions?
I just submitted one.
Okay, well, that's a very specific issue, Dr. Karpak, and you can communicate that directly to your students that are enrolled.
I already did.
Okay, thank you. So the about some student questions and concerns. I will say the buildings on campus are locked. Students will not be allowed to come to campus, but our advisors stand ready to advise you. And Mary Coller has sent emails out to you. You can contact your advisor to set up an appointment either via email, telephone, or WebEx call. So our advisors are still there to help the students get their schedules in order. And we certainly want to make sure, we're not sure many of our freshmen have been in yet, so we do want to encourage the freshmen to contact their advisors. There was an email that went out last night. And I'm not sure if the students got this information yet or not, but we have extended the date to either drop a course or to take a course credit, no credit, until April 24th. Now, that being said, students,
Well,
you cannot take a tool core or course in your major, pass credit, no credit. So any courses in your major, which for us means tool, core, and major, cannot be taken credit, no credit. You'll continue to take that course for a letter grade. The deadline for completing an incomplete grade, if that's what you get, has also been extended into the fall semester. So again, we're trying to make as many accommodations and provisions as we can. We have two top priorities. One, that our students are safe and healthy. And number two, that you're successful through the fall semester, or I'm sorry, through the spring semester. So that's our promise to you, is that we're going to work with you to help you be successful and to complete your coursework this spring.
I'm listening
Licata,
to.
we have a couple of questions. One,
I do want to encourage people to please keep their mics muted.
Yeah, it's just, they're just telling us what.
will the format for finals be up to the individual professors?
Yes, yes. By the end of next week, your faculty member will be giving you a revised syllabus, if in fact the syllabus has been revised for the last 8 weeks of the semester. So if there are some adjustments that the faculty member is making in their course, that will be reflected in a revised syllabus that will be sent out to the whole class. What faculty members decide to do with regard to their final exams will be up to them.
Another question is, will there still be assistance available for international students in filing their taxes?
Well, I'm happy to say that the tax deadline has been extended till July 15th, which doesn't directly answer your question. But once things open up on campus, I know Dr. Schaefer has already been thinking about ways in which we can help the international students get their taxes completed. But now that the deadline's been extended until July 15th, we have some time to figure that out.
All right. And one more question, will any computer labs, wait a minute, two more questions. Will any computer labs be open for students' use, or is this no longer an option for our students?
That is no longer an option. The university buildings are locked. All of us except essential employees are working remotely. And I use that term essential. That actually has a special meaning in organizations. So there are some staff members who are required to be on campus because we need to worry about the science labs or the animal labs and the boiler plant. But everyone in the College of Business is working remotely. The buildings are locked, so the computer labs will not be available to students. But Jim Yukich, who's our Chief Information Officer, sent out information today that the university has purchased a couple hundred laptop computers, microphones, webcams, and hotspots. So if anybody is in need of equipment, they should take a look at that email, follow the link, and there will be a drive-through computer distribution. So you'll be able to drive up with by appointment only, drive up to Michelle Hall, they'll give you your equipment and you can drive away.
Another question is, how does it work for approval for summer internships? We contact our career advisor for further information regarding documents and such.
Yes, Abby is on the phone with us and she is working remotely. Working remotely means working 40 hours a week. So we are there working for you. So you should continue to talk to Abby. She'll be in touch with the department chairs and the internship advisors. In all honesty, and to be realistic, I don't know what the traffic is going to look like in terms of employers looking for summer interns. It's likely to be a very slow summer unless you already have an internship lined up. But everything will work as it always has, through Handshake, working with Abby. Christina O'Connell is still on maternity leave and she'll be back working remotely into April sometime. So We are all still there, working for you, available to you. Some people have forwarded their phones to their cell phones, so we're here. Faculty and staff are here to answer your questions and help you through this.
Does the semester still end on May 9th, or will finals be pushed back a week?
The semester ends on Friday, May 8th. And in fact, I have an email ready to go to faculty today, reminding them that the semester will go through May 8th. And your final exam or the last deliverable, whether it's a paper, a project, report, whatever it might be, will be due on your regularly scheduled exam time. So if your exam was scheduled for that Wednesday at 10 o'clock and your professor is still planning a final in the class, the final will be at that time.
And will students have access to softwares with subscriptions fee, for example, Adobe Suite?
Yes, again, this is where you need to read the emails from Jim Yukich. The only package right now that is not available to you today, but it should be by Monday, is SPSS. Everything else is available to you. Students can download Microsoft Office on their computers. Creative Cloud, Adobe Creative Cloud can be downloaded on your computer. Through our Microsoft agreement, Microsoft Project is available to you, as is Tableau. What else have we been using? JMP. All of that, as far as I know, is available to you. We've been telling the IT folks what software our faculty members need, and the software, if it's not available to download, they've been virtualizing it.
SPSS as well, I think.
Yes.
All right, Dean Licata, will graduating seniors who paid for their graduation get their money back, or will that be used till further notice regarding commencement?
There have been no decisions made on that. That graduation fee, is my understanding, and I don't know all the details, covers a variety of expenses besides the cap and gown. So there's been no decision made on that at this point in time.
Any other questions?
So I've got a question for the students. What are students most concerned about, and what do you think we can do to help alleviate their concern? So if you want to either in the chat box, if you want to say, I'd like to speak, or type in a suggestion there, please do so.
We have another question. Will there be a universal system such as WebEx app that professors will use, or is it up to the professor to choose how they will meet?
It's up to the professor. Most faculty members are learning to use WebEx. Some may start using Microsoft Teams. We're really trying to minimize the number of different technologies that we're going to be asking people to use. We will put some information on our website about how to download the software. There is information available to you, but we'll try to get it all on our College of Business website, and we'll be sending out another email message to everybody that will include that, in case you haven't seen it. Anybody else have some suggestions, ideas for the faculty members? If you have questions, you might want to ask me offline, but if you have any words of advice for the students, if you want to, in your chat box, let me know that you have something that you'd like to say, and we'll call on people one by one. Well, everybody's pretty quiet today. So when working with teams, what's the policy regarding sharing YSU emails? If you're using Microsoft Teams and creating teams in that, everybody will be readily available with each other. Our policy on communication is we only communicate with YSU emails. So please, students, don't ask us to use anything but a YSU email, because as you know, faculty members can email their classes in a relatively easy way. So the different faculty members, yes, they're just like with WebEx, there's a chat feature. Depending on what technology the faculty member is using, there will be different options available to you. Yes, to the faculty, whatever we send to the students, we'll make sure we include the faculty so everybody's getting the same information. I don't want to tell any secrets here to the students, but this is as new to many faculty across campus as it is to you. So when we say be patient and we're all in this together, we really do mean that, because some of us are learning to use some of these technologies for the first time too. And by doing this remotely or virtually, in no way should take away from the interaction between you and the other students in the class and the faculty members. I have faculty members texting me too, so I'm trying. So today I had 2 laptops and a cell phone set up. But just to reiterate that last point, we want to meet your learning needs the best way we can. I would say if you're hitting a bump in the class, be patient, but also let the faculty member know. I mean, sometimes we may not recognize certain dilemmas that the students are facing in a class. So we may think things are working really well, but you know, we're all learning and trying to have technology work for us rather than have us work for technology. So want to just use the technology as a way to enhance learning and certainly not replace that connection with all of you.
I have another question. What would you suggest for student organizations?
Well, students are not going to be back on campus this spring, but I certainly understand the interest and need for the student organizations to continue to interact. And I would say if you want to have virtual meetings, or well, I guess virtual meetings would really be the primary option, you're encouraged to do so. I would just remind everybody that for the foreseeable future, the building will remain locked. And that there's no expectation that students will come back to campus before the end of the semester. All of the student conferences, I assume everyone knows this, but all of our conferences, students, faculty alike, have all been canceled. Competitions have been canceled. I know for the NASBITE, the International Trade Exporting Competition, I think they're going to have virtual teams present virtually, so that will be interesting. But if you want to still meet as a student organization, I would say coordinate with your advisor. But here's something I think we're all very sensitive to as well. Next week is going to be a whole new world, as they say. For faculty and students, we know you're all juggling 4 or 5 classes delivered in different ways with different expectations. So we know that your number one priority for the next 8 weeks are your classes. So we're very sensitive about not asking you to do any other kinds of things because we know as you're all navigating your way through 5 classes, that's really where your time needs to be. Maybe some of you are still trying to complete internships. So we're hesitant certainly to ask you to do anything beyond being successful in your classes. We've talked about an idea, for example, of kind of business buddies where you could have some touch points of students to help navigate around certain kinds of things. We're identifying power users to help both students and faculty with WebEx and Blackboard. So if you consider yourself a power user, let us know so we can hook you up with some folks who may need some assistance with that. So if you're hearing of any dilemmas that students are facing, if you please let Mary Coller know or me. Your advisors are still available to you 8 hours a day, and you should reach out to them if you need to. Anything else?
I'm just going to read Dr. Sanger's note, and she just wants us to remind students to not hesitate to contact your professors if you have any questions or something's not clear. They want to hear from their students. The professors want to hear from their students. So students, if you're out there, don't hesitate to contact your instructors and your professors. They're there to help.
And I think the fact that we have a significant number of faculty members on this student town hall meeting really indicates how committed and interested the faculty members are in the success of our students moving forward. So please don't hesitate. Part-time faculty members too are on board. They've been going to training. But today everybody will be rolling out their sort of get to know you week. We've got an advantage because, and let's not forget that as faculty and students, we were all together for the first 8 weeks of the semester. So we're to some extent picking up where we left off. We at least know who's in the class, but in a different environment. Not downplaying that because that is significant. For those of us who've already worked at home a day and a half, it's adjustments for everybody. Lots of us like to be with people. Some people prefer not to be. We didn't all have the chance to be serenaded this morning by Mary Coller, who sang to us at our touch point meeting. So who knows what next week will bring. But be patient, have a sense of humor. Most importantly, be healthy, stay home, and we'll get through this. So we'll do another one of these sometime next week. We'll be communicating via the new email system that we're using. And anytime again, if you have any questions, please do email us. So relax, eat well, try out some new recipes. And that's what's most important. We'll see you, as they say, next week. So enjoy your weekend, relax, and do a little binge watching and not binge eating. So we'll talk to everybody next week. Thank you.